Launched in September, the One Roar Fund will serve as a vehicle to help all 31 of Columbia's varsity athletics programs and club sports to compete at the highest level. We remain committed to providing our student athletes with the best resources available to help them achieve their goals. Although competition has been postponed, the competitive fire within our student athletes still burns as they await the call to return to athletic events. One Roar will provide our 700-plus student athletes with the necessary resources to stay in prime shape, mentally sharp, and above all, healthy and safe, as we await the continuation of Ivy League play. Together, we roar as one.
Welcome back to our Conversations with the Staff. This Thursday, I'm sitting down with Coach Ryan Larsen. Ryan's our quarterback's coach. He's a 12-year coaching veteran, and he's in his second season with Columbia, about to get into his third year coming in March. And he was most recently the offensive coordinator at Division III Stevenson University. And he's been our quarterback's coach ever since. Ryan, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get into it. The question I've been leading off, talking to all our coaches at least, is what are you looking at a recruit at your positions? What are you looking at when we're recruiting quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think the first thing is recruiting quarterbacks is different. One, you're not taking a bunch of guys. You're only taking one or two a year. So I think you've really got to be concise in what you're looking for. We're always going to start with the academics, just like any position. We're obviously going to look at the talent. What can he do? And one of the big things for me, because there are different types of quarterbacks. You've got dual threat guys who can run. You got more pro style guys that might have a big, strong arm. But you're looking for what do they do that's unique? You know, what makes them special? If a kid doesn't have anything that's really unique, it's probably not going to be a kid we're going to recruit. So we don't try to pigeonhole ourselves by only taking dual threat or only taking pro. We're looking for something unique. And then, as I mentioned, because you're only taking one or two guys, you really want to focus in on the leadership qualities. Is he a winner? If he's not a winner, why? Is it out of his control maybe? And that's where you're talking to the high school coach. But you're looking for leadership qualities. You're looking for someone who can captivate. And, the truth of the matter is, and I say this joke all the time to our quarterbacks, but it's true. Anyone in the stands at a high school game knows who the quarterback is. They might not know one rule of football. They might be the first football game they've ever been to, but everyone knows who the quarterback is. So there's a lot of responsibility with that. And so we're looking for someone who's, up for that task. Someone who wants to be a leader, someone who wants to help this program win at a high level. So that's a big thing is as we vet our guys, we get past all the criteria. Now we're really starting to get to know them as a person. And are they a fit? And there's great quarterbacks that just might not be a great fit for us, for what Coach Bagnoli wants in the program, for the offense, or even in the quarterback room. So we're kind of slowly funneling everyone through those layers to find the right guy.
Awesome. And you mentioned, there's obviously different kinds of quarterbacks, dual threat, pro style. There's a lot of nuances to playing quarterback. And obviously we have our offensive system and playbook. But what are some of your favorite drills, or some of the drills that you run each week during practice to most help our QBs get ready for a game?
Yeah. Philosophically, I think that drills, regardless of the position, should really do two things. It should be improving or enhancing your mechanics or your fundamentals. And then it should be preparing you to win a game, preparing you to perform in a game. And so, I don't do drills just to fill time. We're so busy as quarterbacks. We've got to do handoffs. We've got to go throw with guys. We've got to be everywhere. So our time is really, really constrained in practice, where I want to make sure that that's really emphasizing those two things: preparing us to win, improving our fundamentals. If I can find a way to do certain drills versus a certain defense we're going to see. So if I think we're going to, maybe get a lot of pressure, we want to do some things where maybe we're going to throw a little bit more off platform. We're going to do things where we're throwing on the run, just so that we can be prepared if we think that the pocket might be disrupted. So we're always trying to kind of balance those two things to prepare us to win. And then, a big thing is combining drills. If I can find as many ways to combine things together to get more bang for our buck and our time, that's really, really big for me. One of the things that I've done since, COVID is kind of hit is I've been doing a ton of research on quarterback drills from quarterback coaches all over the country, all different levels, just to see yet again, how can I refine, how can I kind of, do things that are going to help us, win a game. So that's kind of my big thing when it comes to it. I don't have certain drills I'm in love with. I think there's ones that we all like, but there's not ones that we're going to do, the same 5 drills every single week. It's going to be dependent upon who we're playing.
Awesome. Well, I know that you were a quarterback in college and now you're coaching quarterbacks, but what do you love about coaching the quarterback position?
Yeah, I kind of hit on it a little bit with recruiting, but there's nothing like this position. And I don't mean offense to any other sport or any other position in any sport, but like when you're the quarterback, it's special. It's different. Everyone knows who the quarterback is. Everyone knows who Tom Brady is. Everyone knows who Peyton Manning is. I mean, it's special. And with that, comes a lot of responsibility on the player, but also on me as the coach. And like I'm competitive. I'm very competitive. Greg, you know that from our college days. And so like, that's what gets me excited in the morning to be our quarterback coach, to get up, to go to work, to do these things. Like, I know that my job and role is very important, so that our guys can succeed. And, you're only going to go as far as your quarterback's going to take you. Any championship team always has good quarterback play, if not elite quarterback play. And so, that's what I love about it. It's the challenge every day of competition that kind of pushes you.
And truth be told, Ryan and I went to college as rivals. And we played for the Battle of 6th Street every year.
That's right.
Look that up if you guys want some good football IQ. Anyway, so you got here in March 2019. You've been here, almost 2 years. What are some things that surprised you about Columbia, about New York City that you didn't expect or you didn't even think about before you got here?
Yeah. I think that the one thing was when I first stepped on campus, because I'd been to New York City, but I hadn't been to Columbia until I interviewed. I was really blown away by the campus and that it felt like a real campus. And so I think I'm like a lot of people that don't know Columbia, whether you're a recruit or a parent or whatever. You make these assumptions. Oh, it's going to be like NYU. It's going to be in the middle of the concrete jungle. There's not going to be a real campus feel. It's just going to be a collection of buildings. And I think that's what really kind of, surprised me in a good way. I was like, man, this is a beautiful campus. And I say this to recruits all the time. Like, you could take Columbia's campus. You could take kind of the main, quad rectangle of the campus and put it in the middle of Nebraska, and you wouldn't know the difference when you're standing in the middle of it. Now, you get outside of it and you get all the advantages of New York City. You get all the advantages of, the education outside of the walls. You get all the, the opportunities for internships and job shadowing and fun in New York. So I think that really surprised me. and one of my favorite practices, and Lamb, you'll probably watch me now when we do our Wednesday morning meetings, but like I love every time I'm on campus. Doesn't matter if I'm with my wife and daughter or I'm with the coaches, like I always stop in the middle of the campus on College Walk for a second, and I just like listen to hear nothing from the city. And just kind of soak in that it. That's just one of my favorite things about it is it really is like an oasis in the middle of the most vibrant, busy place in the world.
It is. It's a true college campus smack dab in the middle of the concrete jungle, like you said.
Yep.
You mentioned the advantages of New York City, and New York's known as a food city. So I got to ask, I know from personal experience that you like to eat. What's your favorite place in New York or favorite places in New York City to grab a bite?
Yeah. I'm gonna hit home for you and I a little bit here. Los Tacos #1 down in Chelsea Market excites me. I love Chelsea Market just as a whole, but that's the closest thing that you and I can probably find around here in the city to our Southern California days. Getting some authentic tacos. So that's one of my favorites. I love the Hudson here in Inwood. That mix of, that Creole Cajun and barbecue food, and you're right there on the water. You see the George Washington Bridge. It's just a really kind of chill, cool place to hang out. I love those two places. The unique thing is my family, we live up in Westchester County. And so we're really exposed to a lot of things up there too. And with the 2.5-year-old, all the alums out there that are parents, they know it's not always the easiest to go out to dinner with a toddler. So especially a far distance. So we've got a lot of places up in Westchester that we love, a ton of places, but in the city for sure, those two places are two of my favorites.
Those are great choices.
Yeah.
I've been to both. I think I introduced you to Los Tacos #1, but
yeah. And I know I asked you about the Hudson before I went. I was like, this place looks good. Like, what's the word on it? So
the Hudson's going to be a hot spot after Columbia football games. That's for sure.
There's no question.
So I know you got one season under your belt. We didn't play this past season. But what can you go over some of your favorite Columbia football and quarterback memories that you have?
Yeah. I think that my favorite memory, it's easy, and it's kind of the quarterback and that all together, but it's the first homecoming I got to be a part of here, beating Penn. 44-6. That's obviously a memorable game, but what I really love about it is like homecoming, there's so much that goes into homecoming, right? There's involvement from alums, there's involvement from the administration, there's involvement from our kids, from students on campus. Like there's so much going on, but like the centerpiece is the football game, which is really awesome. And so you always want to win homecoming. That's something you always want to do, regardless of what school you're at. It doesn't matter. You always want to win homecoming. And so to win it and to win it in the way we did by the margin was awesome. So I would have to say that was most definitely my favorite, memory. And it ties into the quarterback side of things. People that follow us really closely probably know this, but, Josh Bean was our starting quarterback. He got hurt the game previous. And so we really went into that game with Ty, being the first game he really was going to be the starter that year. He had started some as a freshman. He had played a little bit as a sophomore, but, we were all in that he was going to be the guy. And, he and I kind of had one of those really cool, coach player moments. We finished up, team breakfast before the game, and I reminded him of the quote that's on our quarterback manual by Peyton Manning that says, pressure is only something you feel when you don't know what the hell you're doing. And, you only feel pressure on game day because you didn't do the work all week long, in the off season, preseason, all those things. And it almost, we reminded him of all the work he had done, and to prepare for him, he was loose. He didn't play perfect by any means, but he played really, really well to help us win. And he was kind of that spark we needed. And so that was a fun deal because selfishly, personally with him, it was great to see him kind of in that big moment step up. But it also was just really cool to see the team kind of galvanize around him. And it was just an awesome game and an awesome win. So it kind of all tied together.
That was definitely a fun day.
Yes.
For sure. Well, I got a couple more questions. And this one is kind of a wild card. We've gotten a lot of different responses from the staff so far, but you have any special talents or hobbies that, we may not know about?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, music has always been actually, outside of football, outside of sport, has been really big in my family. My parents were in a band together. My brother's a musician. My dad was a sound engineer. So music, I was like just brought up around music. My parents joked that they took me to concerts as little as like 4 months old. So I played drums from, second grade all the way through high school. Kind of had to, go a little bit more the sports route in high school. I didn't have as much time to still be a drummer. So that was a big hobby of mine and something that kind of was my non-sport thing. And then I'm huge into concerts, live music. I joke you not, I've been to over 100 concerts. I've got a book with all the tickets in it. I save them all from each one I go to, and you name it, I've been to them all. I've been to, rock, hip hop, EDM, country, you name it, I've been to it. So, COVID, this is a tough time. Don't get to go enjoy live music, and especially in a city like New York, where I was really looking forward to, some of the clubs here that are, obviously famous and really well known. But, in time, it'll happen.
In due time. I mean, I got to figure out how to get a drum set up at the Campbell Sports Centers to hear you play around a little bit.
That'll have to be a camp thing, and I'll have to practice and get it back because it's been a while.
That's all I got. That was awesome. And what I've been doing is just letting you guys, say your piece to the alumni and fans watching tonight. Thanks so much for hopping on the Zoom and giving these answers to these questions to our fans and alums.
Absolutely. I would just say, thank you. And the one thing that I mean is I've been very fortunate in my career. I've been in the Big Ten. I've been at multiple Division III schools. And then now I'm here at Columbia and I'm in the Ivy. And it's really impressive. I can confidently say that the support we get from our alums, our administration, our parents, our players, fans, everyone, it's really exceptional. I mean, we've made strides. We as a program, we know we still have more work to do. We know we still have to keep getting better. We still have to keep putting that work in as a staff and as our players, but we know the support's there. And when you know the support's there, you know that your efforts are going to be, valued and you're going to get that extra help. So I would just say thank you because I have the broad perspective of seeing different places and I can kind of compare and contrast, and it's really unique and special here. So we just got to keep building it up and doing it all together.
Now that we've heard from Coach Ryan Larsen, we're going to sit down here with Ty Lenhart, quarterback, senior on the Columbia team currently. Ty, thanks for sitting down with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, Ty, we just heard from Coach Larsen. He talked a little bit about what he's looking for in recruiting quarterbacks and some of the drills that he likes to run at practice. But what is it like playing for Coach Larsen? What's it like in the meeting rooms? How is he on the practice field? And what's he like on game day?
Yeah, Coach Larsen, so he came in, I guess you'd call it 2 years ago. And, we haven't skipped a beat since he first came. The one thing that I love about him is he just loves the game of football. Like with every inch of his bones, like he just loves the game. And that kind of feeds into us. And my love for the game has increased because of him and how he coaches us and how he pushes us. So, him and his love for the game is just leaked out throughout the whole QB room. And, not only does he care about us as quarterbacks on the field, but he cares just as much or even more about us off the field. He wants us to become better men and cares about our personal lives and what's going on with our families. And, he's always in touch with us, especially, I mean, I haven't seen Coach in months. And, he's always checking in, just asking me how my family's doing, how everything's going. So, it's not about just on the field, but off the field and impact that he's had especially on me. And, you know, he's always there if I want to meet, or if any of the other guys want to meet, always ready to talk ball, always willing to share knowledge and, you know, just teach about the game. And, you know, he's taught me so much both on and off the field. And, you know, I'm just super thankful to have him as a mentor and a coach in my life.
That's awesome. Do you have any insight? You know, I know game day is a little different. People get juiced up. You know, he was a college quarterback. What's he like on game day? If you even know, you know what? I know your head's in the game, so. Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely not the hoorah type of coach on game day, which is honestly kind of nice. He's that resource that I can go to that's just going to calm me down and keep me neutral. You know, he's not going to like get me crazy pumped up. He's not going to, you know, get me super stressed or mad. You know, he's the coach that I can go to, talk to. You know, when a bad play happens, I can just go to him. We can talk through it and just move on. So just to have him, you know, there throughout the game, just to have as a resource. And obviously, I mean, he knows everything that's going on. So I'm constantly going to him during the game, before games, just talking. And, you know, he helps calm me down in the crazy situations. So if he wasn't there, things could get a little out of hand.
Awesome. Well, Ty, thank you for sitting down with the alumni and our fans tonight. And we'll see you soon, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Can't wait to get back.
Next week on Conversations with the Staff, we'll be joined by our new defensive line coach.